Hi, I'm Jason, and I guess just to get right into it, so this is week 3, I believe, and so just to start, you'd want to have your ukulele tuned. So I'm going to go ahead and tune mine. I'm going to tell you the string names. I will try to make a separate video for just tuning ukulele and guitar. So I'll go ahead and tune this. So the first string closest to you is G. So that's G. And the next one after that is C. And then there's E. And A. And so after that, just to go over how to hold it, if you're sitting down like I am, you can just kind of rest it on your leg, kind of hold it just a little bit to you with like the center of your arm, and then you can rest it in between your thumb and your pointer finger, just like that. So you kind of have room just to, with both hands and your fingers, so you can actually do things. Okay. So last time we went over the C chord, just here, which is your third finger on the 3rd fret, which is in between. So again, all the little metal bars are frets, and so the 3rd fret will be just after the 3rd metal bar. So your finger is going to be in between the 2 metal bars on the string itself, and you want to push it down enough to get that sound of the actual note, and then strum it all together. And again, with strumming, you don't want to put your thumb like under the string and then try to do that, because you could possibly break some of the strings. But you just kind of want to lay it over, and you don't strum just like that. You can put like a little bit force on it, and just doing that gives you the strum sound. And then we went over the different strumming patterns. So one of them was just all down strums, so it just went 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we did down up strums. And so last time, the down strums that go like that, those were numbers. So on 1, 2, 3, and 4, you do down strum. And the up strums, which is basically you take the back of your thumb and you come up towards you, those would be the ands. So basically, whenever you count, it'd go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it'd go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And then we had the last strum, which was a little bit more tricky, which basically went down, down, up, down, up. And the count for that was 1, 2, and 4 and. And that one was a little bit harder just because it had like a little bit of timing. Like you completely skipped the 3 in that, as you heard, because it was 1, 2, and then you skip 3, then and 4 and. And so after the C chord, I'm just going to show one more chord. So this is F. And again, chords are basically all the notes combined together to make a chord, and the notes are the singular musical sounds. So an F is made of an F, an A, and a C. And so when reading these chord charts, so if there's a dot here, that's an A. So even though it says G on this string right here, that's not the actual note that you're playing. You're playing an A, because if you're playing the A, it sounds like this. That's not a G, and a G is just open string without having your finger on anything. So really, if you were to look at this, the real notes would be the A, because there's no note on the string, an F, because the dot is there, and then the C, because there's no note on the string, and then the A, because it's the dot. So really, you could get rid of these 2 notes. So it would be A, F, C, and then the other A. And just as a basic, an F chord is made up of an F, an A, and a C, which is all the notes that are in here, along with the C, and C is just a C, an E, and a G, which is all the notes you're playing, because whenever you play a C chord, you play a G, a C, an E, and then a high C. And again, since there's a dot on this string, you're not gonna, that A doesn't apply to this. So again, C is your third finger on the third fret, something like that. And then for the F chord, so before you do this, remember that whenever you're looking at a chart like this, if you were to match it up with yourself, it'd be upside down. So all the strings correlate to your instrument as if they're upside down. So, as you can see, to play the F, it's the first fret on the E string. And the E string, it isn't the string furthest away from you, it's the one just closer than that. So you're going to have your first finger on that string, on the fret. And remember, if I say on the first fret, then that means just behind that middle bar. You don't want to put it exactly on the middle bar, because then it's kind of a muted sound and it doesn't sound as good. So you want to have it in the space between. And so an F will sound like this. And so you'll have your first finger, your pointer finger, on that spot. And then with your second finger, the one right next to that, you're going to have on the A note, which is the second fret on the string closest to you. So you're going to take that finger and you're going to put it right here on the second fret, which is just behind the second middle bar on that string. And so all of that together would basically sound like this. And that's an F. And just to go over that again, and if it's easier, if you wanted to form that, you don't have to put your first finger on that at first. You can also just put your second finger on there first and then try to shape it from there. It might be a little hard, but with enough practice, it'll be good. So again, your first finger will go on the first fret of the E string, so it'll sound like this. And again, that's just right behind the middle bar. And then your second finger will go on the second fret of the string closest to you, which sounds like this. And then the chord all together should sound like this. Okay, so I just wanted to get a little bit closer just to actually show you where my fingers are. So for the F chord, you're going to take your first finger, your pointer finger, and you're going to put it right here on this fret, which is just behind the middle bar. And it's not going to be the furthest string from you, it's going to be the one just in front of that. And so that sound will sound like this. And then once you have that down, you're going to take this finger, the finger right next to your pointer finger, and you're going to move it down and you're going to put it right on this spot. So you stretch over and hit that. And remember, it's not exactly on the middle bar. You're going to have it in between the two middle bars on the string. And you're going to put enough force on there to where it actually makes it sound. So it's going to sound like this. And again, your first finger will be on the E string, which again is not the furthest string, it's the string just in front of that, sound like this. And then the finger right next to that, your second finger will be right here on this spot. Press it down in between the two middle bars and enough force to make the sound. And again, it sounds like this. So just try to make sure and get that hand formation correct. Okay, so the two chords that we know is the C chord and an F. And so you can try to practice just switching in between those. So again, your third finger is going to be there, and then you take your two first fingers and you're going to use those to make the F. And you can just practice going back and forth, just And so once you feel like you got that, I'm going to go ahead and write down some strumming patterns that we can just work on with those two chords. So, okay. So our first exercise is just down strums, and again, for these strumming patterns, what it basically is these lines just represent like the actual chord. So whenever you see one of those, you know to strum once. And then these symbols above them, just to go over that. So I guess as an example, they kind of look like a table. And so it's almost like a rectangle, except they're missing a side. So the side that's facing down is gone. And since that side is facing down, on that chord, you're going to strum down. Which again, you just start up here and just go down. And then the numbers underneath them is the count, which is basically the beat. So in total you're going to count 4, so there's going to be 4 down strums. And in total this sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you practice going from the C to the F, then you can just go over that with them. And so you can basically go down 4 times with the C and then 4 times with the F. So that would sound like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you can try it with me if you want. I'll go ahead and do it again. And so just go a little bit slower. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just one more time, sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you feel like you're getting that, then you can go ahead and switch. And basically what I mean by that is just strum the C twice and then strum the F twice. So you're cutting it in half basically. So you're going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And so that's just a little bit faster, just to like help with changing the chords. And so you can try that with me. If this is too hard, then you can go back to the other one and strum 4 times for each. So to do this one, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And so you can do it with me if you want. I'll go a little bit slower just so you can make sure that you're getting your fingers in the right spot to actually change the chords. So go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And now if you feel like you have got that now, then you can strum once for each and just go like a little bit faster, just practicing. And again, if this is too hard, you go back to that, you go back to the other one, and if that one's too hard, you can go back to the other. So real quick, this is what the one strum sounds like. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for each strum, you're basically just going back and forth. So you can try it with me if you want. I'll go a little bit slower. And so in total, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, you can still do it with me if you would like. So it would sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So if you feel like you've gotten that, then I'll go ahead and write down a different strumming pattern, which is basically the same as the other video, just we're mainly practicing just switching in between the chords. So yeah, I'll go ahead and just write down the next strumming pattern and we can work on that. Okay, so now I have the next exercise for us. And so to go over the other type of strum, so you already got this one that looks like a table or a rectangle at the bottom side. And then for this one, for the next one, which is an up strum, so for that one, So on this one, I accidentally actually wrote it wrong. So for this one, so the other one, the side that was missing was pointing down, so that would be a down strum. And so for this one, it's open upward, so it would go, so the strum would go up. And for that one, you could say it's an upside down triangle that is missing the top side. And again, since the side that is missing on that one goes up, you would strum up. So just down and up. And again, the up strum is just taking the back of your thumb and just kind of pulling it up towards you. And then the count for this one basically is the same thing. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, except you're adding an and in between all those numbers. So it would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So just as an example, in total it would sound like this. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can try it with me. I'm gonna go ahead and switch in between them. So in total it's gonna sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So once you go through one of these, so you start on C, then you go through the string pattern, and then once you're done with that, you're gonna switch to the F and then go through it again. So I'll do it a little bit slower. You can do it with me. So it would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you're gonna switch to F, and then it would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And again, if it's a little bit too hard to switch in between them, you can go back just a little bit in the video to the other strumming patterns that I was going over, or you can just stop and just kind of like just try to just strum and try to practice going through them. Just try to practice get your fingers in the same spot. Try to keep them there. Try not to move them as much, and just pretty much. So I'm going to go through this again. I'm still going to count slow. You can do it with me. So it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then switch to F, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So to do that one more time, I'm not going to count for this one. I'm just going to let you go along with me. So for this, I'll just do a little count in, and basically what a count in is, it's basically just you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start playing. So counting like that basically gives you a beat to work with. So as an example, you could still do this with me. So go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's basically the strumming pattern. I'll go through it one more time. So again, I'll do the little count in. You can do it with me if you want. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So that's basically that. And again, if that is a little bit too hard, then you can go back to the other ones and just practice switching in between them. And so I'm going to go through this again just a little bit faster. If you feel like you're getting it, then you can do it with me. So I'll go ahead and do a count in, and I will count for this as well. So going a little bit faster, it would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And if that's a little bit too fast, then you can just go back to the other tempo that I was doing. And if that's still a little bit too fast, then you can also count as well. You can count out loud and just do it. And basically all you're saying is just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. but you can go at whatever speed you feel like you can do comfortably. So again, with the little bit of faster speed, it would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So now that we did that string pattern, I'm going to go ahead and erase this, and I'm going to write down another pattern for us to work on. Okay, so I have our next exercise written down, and just a little reminder, all of these basically start with a C chord and end with an F chord, and that includes all of the other ones as well. So this pattern, string pattern, as you can see, it's the rectangle with the bottom open, so that would mean a down strum. So it goes down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, sorry about that, I have pets. So anyway, the string pattern basically goes down, down, up, down, down, up. And so the count for this one would be 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So after the 1 and 3, you're not going to say and it's not going to be an up strum. So basically, right now I'm playing the C chord. You don't need to do this with me. I'm just doing this as an example. So as an example, this sounds like down, 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 up, down, down, up. And then with counting, it sounds like 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And so I'm going to do this a little bit slower, and I'm going to start with C, and then I'm going to go through this, and then I'm going to do F, and then go through this. So I'll do a little count in, and you can do it with me if you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So I'm going to do that just one more time. You can still do it with me if you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And I'm just going to do that one more time just so you can understand it. And again, you can do it with me if you want. And if this one is a little bit too hard or a little bit too fast, so if it's too hard, you can go back to the other ones and just, again, make sure that you get the finger placements right. And then if it's too fast, you can count to yourself. So you can count slower, and if you're counting to yourself, what you're going to say basically is 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And so basically all that is you're counting 1, 2, 3, 4. But after the 2 and 4, you're adding an and. So 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So I'm going to do the same speed with a count in, and you can play it with me if you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So I'm just going to pick up the speed a little bit, and again, if this way is too fast for you, then you can just do the one that I just showed you again. So faster, I'm going to do a count in, and I'm going to count. You can do this with me if you want, but this is just an example. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And so if that is too fast, then again, you can go back to the other one that I just did. So I'll do a count in, and you can do it with me if you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And yeah, so that speed, I'll go ahead and do it again, just to make sure that you can get it. So with the count in, you can do it with me if you like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, this time, I'm just going to do the count in, and then I'm not going to count after that, so you can hear what I'm playing a little bit better. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so that's that again. So I'm going to do that just one more time so you can hear it, and you can do it with me if you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know you see me looking at the camera and playing it, but you don't have to look away while doing it. Like if you're a beginner, then it's better to look at your hand just to know what you're doing. So I'm going to do that just one more time, but this time I am going to just go a little bit faster. If you feel like you're getting better at it, then you can follow along. So I'm going to do a count in and count with it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and so I'm going to do that one more time with the count in, and I'm going to count through. You can do it with me if you want. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. Okay, so I'm going to do that another time, and I am going to do the count in, but this time I'm not going to count while playing it, so you can hear the speed that I'm playing and actually hear what I'm playing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm just going to do that one more time again with the count in, and I'm not going to count while playing it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was the last string pattern that I had planned. So you can just go over all those. Remember, just practice switching in between the chords, and just make sure that you can get like the right hand shapes and everything, and try to get your fingers to stay in that spot. If they slip, then you can either like mute the strings, or you can play like a wrong note, and that's not really what you want. So you can just go over the string patterns. If it's too fast, then you can either just go back in the video, because I have like 2 different speeds for some of the string patterns, or you can just count to yourself. And remember, counting is just 1, 2, 3, 4. And for example, this one is 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. And if you can see the markings that I have below, so the numbers are just, you'd say the numbers, and then the plus sign is an and. So it'd go 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So just remember to practice it, and I guess just like tips about your ukulele: if you're just holding it, you can hold it on your leg, kind of keep it on your arm so you have your fingers open to play. And then when tuning, just make sure not to twist these knobs too much. They're not a toy. And if you twist them too tight, then the string can snap, and then if you twist them too loose, then the string can just come off. So yeah, just make sure to practice, and that's pretty much all I have. So bye, thank you, have fun with your ukulele. And just for your information, this is the one pet that you heard scream in my video. So, well, anyway, bye. I said bye too.